Hi, this is Shannon Aronson, your trusted real estate advisor, and I'm here today with Evan Drachman. He is an attorney with Evan Drachman, which is one of the most well-known and well-respected real estate law firms in the area.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to see you, Evan.
Thank you.
Evan, this time of year, and pretty much all times of year, I hear a lot of people complaining about the fact that they pay too much taxes.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that's something you hear all the time as well.
No question. And now is the perfect time of year for people to really evaluate whether or not they can lower their property taxes.
Well, let's start with that. Why is now the right time of year? Is there a certain process that
Tax
you follow?
appeals can only be filed between January 1 and April 1 of any given year. There are some technicalities where you're allowed filing later, but generally it's between January 1 and April 1.
Okay. So obviously everyone thinks their taxes are a little too high, or at least everyone I've met. Give people a ballpark about how they can understand whether or not that really may or may not be the case.
Absolutely. Well, tax appeals are an attempt to lower your value of your house that the town sees. Most people always think their house is worth more unless they're fighting their taxes, when all of a sudden we hear all the problems in someone's house. So people have to determine, the first thing that people need to do is determine what their actual value of the house is.
Okay.
The town has assessments on everyone's house. Assessments aren't necessarily a true property value. Assessments reflect a number that was set when the town valued every house in the municipality.
Okay.
Towns don't have the budget to do that every year, so assessments stay the same, and the town changes ratios.
So that's why in some towns a tax assessed price is very different than what I might be able to sell it for.
Absolutely.
Is that correct?
It has to do with when the town most recently valued the property. If a town hasn't valued property in 25 years, the assessments are going to reflect property prices 25 years old.
Okay, so the assessed value may not really help somebody determine whether or not they're eligible for a tax reduction, so what should they do then?
What they need to do is first figure out what their house value is. Once they have a value, they can then take the assessed value of their property, divide it by their current market value, and they end up with a ratio. If they search the internet for Chapter 123, they'll find a list of ratios for every municipality in the state of New Jersey.
Okay.
Chapter 123 is the New Jersey statute that governs how taxes are set. So once they find the correct ratio, they will see where their ratio falls within a chart, and if they are more than 15% what's called the average ratio, meaning the average ratio of every assessed value to property value in that town, they're going to have a successful tax appeal.
Okay, so if I feel that my house is valued 15% over what the actual market value would be, then what should I do?
At that point, you would contact an attorney like myself who handles tax appeals. Most attorneys who handle tax appeals charge a contingent fee, meaning they only get paid if the tax appeal is successful. One of the huge benefits of charging that way is the clients can absolutely trust that we're not going to accept every tax appeal. We're going to only look for ones that are successful. We'll give you an honest opinion as long as you're giving us honest information, such as the value of your house. One of the reasons why you must give honest information is because you can lose a tax appeal. And if tax appeal is lost, your taxes can actually go up.
Okay, so it sounds a little bit risky for somebody. What you're saying is true, that if somebody asks you to get their taxes lowered or try, they could actually end up getting increased. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Now that doesn't happen very often because as part of our job as attorneys, we'll look at the evidence. We look at all properties that are comparable to the subject property that closed title between January 1 and October 1 of the prior year, and if the information we've received from our client doesn't fall within what the comparable properties indicate, before we file, we'll certainly have a conversation with the client.
Okay, terrific. What's the best way for somebody to reach out to you if they'd like your help with this process?
Our phone number our contact information will all be provided on the blog. I can also be reached at 973-992-1700, or our website is DollingerDrachman.com.
Thanks so much, Evan. This has been really helpful.
Thank you.